And this one's for you.
Okay. Really didn't have to do this. What's the occasion?
It was my meditation teacher's idea.
Your meditation teacher told you to bring gifts to all of your coworkers.
I asked what was something that could help me at work, and she said it all came down to one thing. Presents.
Welcome to Rewind Video. I'm Bob.
I'm Rob.
And we love movies. Good ones, bad ones, old ones, new ones. Movies we love sharing with others. Movies we keep to ourselves, and everything in between. So the holidays are in the rear view.
Yeah, we kind of screwed up with this one.
Indeed, yeah, kind of, sort of. But, you know, speaking of the holidays, I assume you got some nice presents.
I got a couple.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, a lot of physical media.
Nice.
Which is weird because I have access to all of it already at the store, but it is nice to own things.
Yeah, you don't have to borrow these.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope all of our listeners received something special over the holidays. But I'll be honest, at my age, I'm at the point where I enjoy giving presents a little bit more than I like receiving them. And even though we've migrated into mid-January, I've got a little something for you that I hope it's not too late to give.
It's never too late.
I'm really excited about this, and I hope you find it thoughtful. I would like to gift you my weekend shifts for the month of February.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know how much you like mixing it up with customers, preparing the popcorn.
That's okay. You know, I would hate to deprive you of those weekend shifts.
Yeah, but I mean, what could be better than giving you the chance to do all the things that you enjoy during our busiest days of the week all through February?
Well, the funny thing is I already work every day on the weekends, but you're basically offering me the chance to work from open until close.
Something
is that
like
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no thanks.
I don't have a receipt for this. Well, regardless of who's working when, you and I have an important job here that we share, and that is stocking the staff recommendation shelf with films that are deserving of our customers' attention. Each time we update the shelf, we adhere to a theme, and this week's theme is gifts.
Every episode of this podcast is a gift to the world.
Kind of is.
Here we are.
Yeah. So you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, customers.
When I saw this on the docket, I immediately knew there's more than one way to interpret this.
Yeah.
I went in only one way, but you did not.
I did not, actually.
Yeah.
It is funny that we do get our topics from a docket. There's a docket here.
There's a docket, yeah.
And that's where we get our topics.
Right.
Obviously, gifts can mean more than just presents.
Yeah.
You can be gifted. You can have intellectual gifts.
Right.
I know this is a fairly new thing, and you just did this. But I've never liked gift as a verb. It's never sat right with me. And
so you would never say, I'd like to gift you.
I've gifted somebody this. Yeah. And I'm generally pretty open to like changing or evolving vernacular.
Yeah.
But that one, I just can't get my mouth around it. I can't something about it doesn't work for me. It irks me in some way. And I don't know. I've never been able to use it as a verb.
We could cancel the episode.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Just kidding. We would be fired so fast.
Indeed. Interesting. I've never thought about that, but yeah,
because it's within the last 20 years for sure. No one ever said that before, like 2010, 2012, something.
I don't know. I guess I haven't been paying attention, but it's certainly a less common use of the word.
Yeah, it gets used all the time that way now.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I've never been able to adapt around it. But take that for what you will.
Well, we'll try it out this episode. See if you can warm
you're
up to it a little
free
bit.
to use it. I just
Okay.
I just can't say it.
Yeah, no, I get it. Well, I am excited that we have more than one take on gifts, separate from the language component of gifts, but like the actual interpretation of it is present here in more than one way. And once again, we're spanning generations. We've got stuff from quite a few decades.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good episode.
As always.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, why don't you get us started with your first pick, as you always do, for this week's theme of gifts?
Okay, I'm going to start us in 1985 with the movie Real Genius. This is directed by Martha Coolidge, who was previously on the shelf for Valley Girl.
Yes.
Which I think you chose, or did I?
I chose that.
You chose that.
Yes.
Okay. This is filed under Toxic Waste Enthusiasts. Here's the back of the box. When teenage geniuses Mitch Taylor and Chris Knight, working on an advanced laser project, learn that the military wants to use it as a weapon, they decide to thwart the plan. Tagline: when he gets mad, he doesn't get even, he gets creative.
Ooh.
Which I like. I think it's pretty okay. I wish they mentioned, like, intelligence or, like, being smart or, like...
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, yeah, he doesn't get even, he gets creative, which is cool if it's about, like, you know, an artist, you know, or something. I don't know, I just wish there was something in there, but it's close. I like it.
It's yeah, they're on to something.
They're on to something. So this is a comedy about a 15-year-old high school student who's recruited into Pacific Tech, which is basically Caltech. Into like the laser physics department.
Yeah.
Because he's like a genius laser guy in high school. He's 15.
Yeah.
So when he gets to Caltech, he's partnered with Val Kilmer, who's a former teenage prodigy, who he's been at the college for a few years now, but now he's like on the verge of flaming out.
Yeah.
And they live in this dorm with all these other advanced students. They're all STEM kids. And so there's always like some wacky science project going on, whether it's like an ice skating rink in the dorm or whatever. It's all these very non-traditional characters, especially for like what we think of as an 80s movie. So when they realize what they're working on could have some like violent applications, they decide to sabotage this whole project. Before the military can get their hands on it, which in of course, like the zaniest way they possibly can, which is a worthy cause, except I have some bad news for these kids where the rest of their career is going to be going, because like this shit isn't like, there's not a lot of like non-weapon or military uses for your skills.
Nope.
Like, and that's pretty true of like most of high tech or just the tech industry in general. Like a lot of it was, you know, invested in by the military industrial complex and whatnot. So like, yeah, good for you now. But like, if you're going to stick with this stuff, like that's pretty much what you're going to be doing.
Yeah. It makes me think like, I imagine what the kids who were working on AI must have been thinking like 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
Like, oh, this is going to be really
like,
cool.
Oh shit. So how does this fit the theme? There are no presents given to anyone in this movie. No. So this is definitely a situation where I'm thinking of gifts as more of the intellectual kind. These are gifted students. You know, they have talents above and beyond the typical teenager. The movie doesn't make fun of them for being smart or nerds like a lot of 80s movies would.
No. I mean, we're in close proximity of the Revenge of the Nerds franchise. I don't know where they were in terms of releases or sequels at this time, but yeah, that's one end of the spectrum.
Yes.
This is another. This is more wholesome and I don't know.
They are nerds. Like they are. Like no one's saying these kids are not nerds, but they're saying like we're nerds, but like we're working on cool stuff. Like we're doing like projects and science projects, and it's fun, and we like it. And being smart is cool.
Yeah,
you know, it's very much like that.
They're not being condemned for their smarts.
Yeah, and so the military industrial complex is doing everything they can to harness Mitch and Chris's gifts for themselves. You know, Val Kilmer has been around the block already, so he's like more sensitive to his gifts being used by other people for their own ends. And so like he wants to use them for other things, for creative things.
Yeah.
This movie does perpetuate a myth about intelligence in a way, because it's like the way a lot of people think of intelligence is like the idea of IQ, where it's like down on the bottom it's 0, at the top it's 300 or whatever, and it's this scale, it goes up and down. Either you're somewhere on this thing, and like that's not really like IQ is basically fake. Like the idea of like intelligence as being like this one thing. It's like either you're smart or you're dumb, you're in the middle or whatever, and then once you pass a certain threshold, you're a quote genius. Like. None of that's like really true. No. Like these kids are very smart at like lasers, but like they probably couldn't make a pizza. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Or conduct a phone call or do a podcast,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people who are supposedly smart that I know could never work in a video store.
Right.
This is a very hard job.
Yeah.
You know?
It takes a certain type
It takes
of
a certain type of gift.
Yeah, it does.
So why do I recommend this? This is a fun-ass movie.
It is.
There's something a little contrived about like Val Kilmer's character. He's like the crazy smart guy, and he does crazy stuff. But I think because it's Val Kilmer, he's so charming, even when he's being an asshole, that you just can't help but. I mean, you can't take your eyes off him. You're right.
He's magnetic.
Yeah, magnetic. His character shouldn't be compelling. But he is.
Because I think you expect him to be a bully, and he's not.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, his character's behavior is kind of indistinguishable from a meth head. He's basically like, scratching himself, running around his apartment, cleaning the walls, you know? And you're like, well, it's because he's so smart. It's like, all right, I guess.
Maybe.
But I love a good school movie. I love being in the dorms and like doing school projects and dealing with the jerk professor and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially with like these laid back 80s vibes, which we're very familiar with after our last episode.
Yeah.
Like the moral and ethical quandary that these guys are in is kind of just treated as like an annoying part of being in the laser school.
Yeah.
Whereas like now, I think if you made this movie now, they'd have to like really deal with the implications of what they're doing instead of just going like, the military wants this laser, let's not let them have it,
Right.
It's way more fun just going like, what's the big deal? Whereas now you'd be like, oh my God, like I'm going to murder all these people, and half the movie would be about like, oh, well, how do we...
The moral consequences.
Interesting trivia about this movie, the popcorn at the end, when they fill the house up with popcorn. Real popcorn.
Yeah, they spent like $1 million on this.
They spent 3 months popping popcorn. They had a popcorn machine in the studio working full time for 3 months, and they had to like spray it with like flame retardant, and then they had to like do all these precautions because obviously like birds and rats and stuff want to get to it, so they had to like.
Amazing.
3 months worth of popcorn.
Amazing.
Insane. Of course, that would obviously be CGI nowadays. But,
yeah.
Because we know from experience that it's not easy.
No.
We spend a lot of time doing that here.
It's an art.
It is an art. So Real Genius is rated 3.5 overall on Letterboxd. 604 users have it in their 4 favorites. 24% agree with my 4-star rating, including Alex Kittle, who says, "Finally, an Oppenheimer for girls." So, Real Genius going up on the staff recommendation shelf this week for the topic of gifts.
So, a couple things before we move on to our next movie, because I hadn't ever seen this before.
Really?
Never watched it as a kid. This was my first exposure, and I couldn't help but to think about the other big movie that came out in '85, which was Back to the Future, and how different these feel. Yeah. And I'm not trying to say that one is necessarily better than the other. I mean, Back to the Future is a masterpiece, but the vibes are different. There's something a bit more timeless about Back to the Future, and this feels very 80s, in spite of the fact that it just got an amazing 4K release and looks as good as it ever has. But yeah, it was just hard for me to not be, I guess, comparing it to Back to the Future. Mostly because I just had no nostalgia for this, and that's my main frame of reference for that year, you know?
I didn't even think about it that way. I think Back to the Future, I mean, it's a Spielbergian feel, you know? This is, you know, she directed Valley Girl, so like there's that feel. Like there is a teen movie feel to this, obviously. But
Yeah.
even though it's a college movie, it's not a Back to the Future style.
No, for sure it's not. But still great. I have this at 3 stars. I could definitely see it going up to I want to go back to this. I was surprised at how few names I recognized attached to this. I mean, Martha Coolidge for sure, Val Kilmer, and then William is
Atherton.
True. This man has no dick. Atherton.
Man, nobody at that time period was such a perfect asshole.
Oh no, yeah, he hit the nail on the head. But yeah, this is fun. So I assume that you did grow up with this.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically what my relationship with it was, but I definitely saw this movie as a youngster.
Yeah.
And, over the years I've gone back to it again and again, but I don't really remember specifically.
I mean, having no frame of reference or context, I would describe this as a comedy, but I feel like it's not as overt as a lot of comedies from this time period were. And I like that about it.
Yeah.
I think Martha Coolidge did a lot of the same things in this that she did in Valley Girl in terms of channeling some authenticity, but also giving you something to laugh at.
Yeah.
And it's a really well done film.
Some wacky characters, there's a guy that lives in the closet, it's not like just like a hangout movie.
Yeah.
There's some wacky stuff going on here too.
Well, fine pick. I'm glad I had a chance to see this. I really had no idea what to expect, and I was delighted. So
Fantastic.
All right. Well, I'm jumping ahead to 1997 for my first pick, and this is from the Did He Really Say Pediatric Gynecologists section of the store. And my first pick is The Game. So back of the box, in honor of his birthday, San Francisco banker Nicholas Van Orton, a financial genius and a cold-hearted loner, receives an unusual present from his younger brother Conrad, a gift certificate to play a unique kind of game. In no time, Nicholas finds himself consumed by a dangerous set of ever-changing rules, unable to distinguish where the charade ends and reality begins. Tagline, what do you get for the man who has everything? Yeah, not great.
The back of the box refers to him as a financial genius.
Yeah, I don't get that.
He inherited a bunch of money.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what makes you a financial genius.
I mean, actually, that usually is what it is.
Yeah. So this is directed by David Fincher, and certainly I think psychological thriller is probably the right way to describe this.
Yeah.
Weaponizes uncertainty. Michael Douglas is here as Nicholas Van Orton. Sean Penn shows up as his younger brother Conrad. It was actually originally going to be Kurt Russell, I believe, and that would have been interesting. But yeah, Sean Penn's good, and this takes place in San Francisco. It's nice to see San Francisco as a setting for a movie, and Fincher always does a good job with his settings. So I feel like we're recommending a lot of Fincher movies, and I wonder if we'll eventually span his catalog. But we're getting close. The man makes a good movie.
He does.
He does.
You're going to have to bring Alien 3 to the shelf.
Yeah, I trust that
it's not that bad.
We're going to have to talk about it. So how does this fit the theme? At its core, I mean, The Game is about a gift that can't be returned, and one that fundamentally alters the recipient. So this present isn't really generosity; it's kind of an intervention disguised as entertainment. And
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, I think the gift forces our main character to kind of confront some of his emptiness, his privilege, the emotional walls he's built up after what we understand to be some trauma as a younger person. A little bit on the production of this. Fincher explained that this film differs from others that he's made because he said movies usually make a pact with the audience that says, we're going to play it mostly straight. What we're going to show you is going to add up. But here, we didn't do that. He says in that respect is about movies and how movies dole out information. And yeah, in interviews, he later admitted that he's not very proud of this movie. He said, we didn't really figure out the third act, and it was my fault because I thought if you could just keep your foot on the throttle, it would be liberating and funny.
I mean, I think I agree.
Yeah.
I actually like. I don't agree with him that he shouldn't be proud of this. I agree with him that it is funny.
Yeah.
You know, like it is funny what they put this character through. It is funny how much peril this guy is in. And then at the end, they're like, "Oh, we just had a guy there. You were fine." Like that is hilarious. They're like, "Oh yeah, we drove you trapped in the back seat of a car into the bay."
Yeah.
But it's fine. We had a guy there.
I mean,
like that's hilarious that they think that's a way to just brush it off.
Oh yeah, and not only that, but like if this game is meant to change him as a person, I could see a lot of this just causing brand new damage.
Yeah. Yes.
Turns him into a different kind of maniac.
He was not only like driven into the bay, but like he was left for dead in Mexico.
Yeah.
Literally left for dead, and then like that was
nothing. Money.
That was a punchline. Like that was the punchline. The T-shirt, like that's a joke.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not a thriller thing. Like that is a moment that tells you like, oh yeah, this whole movie was just a joke.
Right.
On the audience, I think.
So one other quick bit of trivia that I think you will find entertaining.
Okay.
Deborah Kara Unger, who is kind of our main female lead in this. She auditioned for the role of Christine by sending in a test reel, which was just a 2-minute sex scene from her performance in Cronenberg's Crash.
Well,
yep. So there you have it.
Interesting.
Why did I choose this? I agree. I don't think this is Fincher's best film. Far from it. But I don't think you can help but watch this and imagine what your version of the game might be like. If this game is truly tailored to the person, it's inevitable to like ask the question, okay, well, what would they do for me? How would they customize something that would be as exhilarating as this is for him, exhilarating in air quotes. And how would it be different? And
there's a lot.
like that.
The fact that like they clearly have no boundaries means there's a lot of shit they could do. Like they could kidnap your wife. You know what I mean? Like they obviously don't care about what they're doing. So there's a lot of stuff that could make it quote exciting for you. You know?
But it also begs the question. I mean, like maybe they wouldn't do that because I don't necessarily need that. Like I don't have the same problems that Michael Douglas's character does, so perhaps my game might be actually more entertaining. I don't know. I don't know. So I like that this kind of invites you to ask those questions, but as it relates to our theme, the game kind of presents a pretty frightening gift to receive. It's deeply personal in this case. It's invasive and impossible to opt out of. I love how the movie kind of interrogates this idea of whether this idea that wealth insulates you from consequences, which Michael Douglas's character certainly thinks that he can sidestep. But the gift here not designed to comfort, but to destabilize.
I think that's possibly a slightly more interesting version of this movie, where like they really like interrogate how like the wealth bubble is being pierced, because you don't really get that here. That's not like it's not really a big part of it.
It's not. It only really starts to emerge near the end, like when he's stranded in Mexico and he has no money and no way to get back to America.
Right.
But I agree. The movie could.
And then he comes back and they're like, "Ha ha ha! We left you for dead in the middle of Mexico."
There's quite a conceit here and an ask to suspend some disbelief. Yeah. But I think it's a pretty fun ride. It is a little bit too long. Yeah. I started to feel it, especially on this rewatch. I've seen this movie a bunch of times, but I kind of felt it here. In fact, I downgraded my rating from 2 3 stars. I can't remember where it was. It was either 3.5 or 4. But this did pretty well against its budget, in spite of not being regarded as one of Fincher's better movies. It does average a 3.8 on Letterboxd. 34% of users agree with my 3-star rating. 5,600 have this on their list of 4 favorites. Where did you come out on this? Had you seen this before?
Oh, yeah. I saw this probably when it came out in theaters. I've seen it a few times. You said you took it from 4 down to 3?
Yeah.
This has always been a 3-star movie for me. I bumped it up to 4 this time.
Did you?
Just because it just hit me real funny,
Yeah,
It's like, this is so preposterous. It's hilarious. I know Fincher's always the guy that makes like these dark, broody movies and then comes out and is like, it's actually a comedy. But like this actually like hit me as a bit of a comedy.
Yeah.
It's preposterous in that way of a thing we've talked about before. I think this 1995, you said? 97?
97.
This is like at the very tail end, if not even maybe a little bit past the era when movies just didn't care. That they'd be like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, but Michael Douglas is in it. Like, fucking deal with it. You know, like I think we were a little bit past that era, but that's what this movie does. It's just like,
for sure,
whatever. Like, none of this adds up. Like, none of this.
Don't ask questions.
This literally isn't. None of this is possible. Right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
But Sean Penn's in it. Michael Douglas is in it. Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Sean Penn is really good in this.
Oh yeah.
But you know who I think gives the best performance in the movie?
James Reborn.
Sean Penn's character. He's the best actor in the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Because
like
he's really
because he knows it's fake.
He's pretending. Yeah,
and he's not because apparently I guess the other people are actors, right? Like, but he's just like Michael Douglas's brother. And he gives a great performance, especially like that scene when they're in the car.
Oh,
and he's like, that's when the fucking really starts, like amazing. That's an amazing performance by that character.
It is great.
Yeah. So I've seen this movie a bunch of times. I've always liked it. I've never considered it like a good movie. I just had so much fun with it this time. I'm like, fuck it. It's a 4-star movie. I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to keep watching it.
You're making me second guess my rating. Well, I think you'll enjoy the 4-star review that I plucked from Letterboxd by a user named Theo. And that person said, they should do this to Elon Musk. Yes, they should.
If only there was somebody that could.
Yeah. So that's my first pick for gifts. It's The Game.
Okay, I am going to stay in the year 1997.
Love it.
The movie is Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. It's directed by Gus Van Sant, who previously on the shelf for To Die For.
Oh, yeah.
Written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Famously.
You can find this in the Wicked Pissas section of the store. Here's the back of the box. It's long. Headstrong yet aimless, Will Hunting has a genius-level IQ but chooses to work as a janitor at MIT. When he secretly solves highly difficult graduate-level math problems, his talents are discovered by Professor Gerald Lambeau, who decides to help the misguided youth reach his potential. When Will is arrested for attacking a police officer, Professor Lambeau makes a deal to get leniency for him if he gets court-ordered therapy. Eventually, therapist Dr. Sean McGuire helps Will confront the demons that are holding him back. Tagline, some people can never believe in themselves until someone believes in them. It's a little sappy.
Yeah. I don't like that.
No.
Back of the box is pretty good. It's long, but...
I mean, it explains the movie.
It does.
I don't know if it's a good back of the box. It's a good, Wikipedia entry.
I like that it starts with headstrong but aimless.
Yes. Good place to start, right?
Yeah.
And then you could... But then why do you need 4 paragraphs?
You don't.
Why do we need the name of the therapist?
No, we don't.
We just call him Robin Williams.
Yeah.
So what is this? This is Matt Damon as Will Hunting, a Boston ne'er-do-well.
Oh, so many Boston accents.
Yeah, oh my God. He spends his days working menial jobs, drinking cheap beer with his buddies, getting into scraps with the neighborhood guys. He's also secretly super intelligent and highly self-educated. Stellan Skarsgård is the MIT professor who kind of discovers him. and sees him as a way to kind of hold on to his own relevance if he had any.
So believable as an MIT professor.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's awesome in
that
this.
accent.
Yep, yep.
Scarves.
You know, he can see that Will Hunting he has the type of mind that maybe only comes around once a generation. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Robin Williams is the therapist who is ordered by the court, and he's working through his own issues. He in addition to helping Will struggle through his own things, he's got his own stuff going on.
Yep.
Ben Affleck is in it along with his brother Casey and Cole Hauser as like his buddies. Minnie Driver's here is the Harvard student.
I hate Minnie Driver, but I love Casey Affleck.
Do you?
Just in general.
Yeah,
not in this movie, but like in general.
Yeah. Okay. You don't like Minnie Driver?
No.
She wasn't around long. I feel like, I guess she's been in some things, but like she was kind of like a thing for like 2 years.
Yeah, she was in like Grosse Pointe Blank and this. That's all that I can think of that she was in, but yeah.
So Will has obvious intellectual gifts. He's at the high IQ again. The depiction's a little unrealistic, I think. I think he's just like too multidisciplinary. Like, could he really know everything about the subjects that he apparently does? Because, like, first of all, he's working these fairly demanding jobs, right?
Yeah.
He's working in like light construction or he's a janitor. Like, he's doing all this stuff, and like also he's like pretty obviously an alcoholic. him and all his friends, like, they're alcoholics. Like, they drink all day long.
Right.
But also he seems to have like multiple different kinds of intelligence, which is not necessarily how it always works. Like the stuff that he's working on is like theoretical mathematics, right? And like, that's not something you look at the problem and you're like, well, here's the answer. You're like, it's not like algebra, But
he can also defend himself in court because he has like like incredible knowledge of the legal system. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like a different kind of intelligence, right? Like that's like memorization and like collections of facts and like recall and that kind of stuff. And like this crazy mathematics, that's stuff you have to like think about and like contemplate and use deep thought, and like you have to have insight into these things, and you have to create your own theories. Like they're not problems with an answer that you just look at it and do the math, right? Like, it's not like, oh, nobody's ever put this in a calculator before, that's why we can't figure it out. It's like, no, they can't figure it out because nobody knows how to do it, right?
Yeah.
So he just has all these different kinds of intelligence, which is fine. This movie's not about that.
It's almost like guys like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote it or something.
Yeah, it's almost like they don't understand how theoretical mathematics work. So a lot of the conflict of the movie is Will kind of rejecting what everybody is telling him he has to use his gifts for, which reminded me of athletes who retire early.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm thinking of guys like Andrew Luck and Ricky Williams who. Yep. They were like these very talented football players who were like great, but they just retired after a couple years because they're like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like football.
Not
like
for me.
Like, just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I like it. And like, I'm putting my body on the line and like whatever. But then when they do it, the story around them becomes like what they didn't live up to this potential, or like they owed. It's like the fans are owed something.
Yes.
It's like you're not allowed to retire because I want to watch you play every Sunday. Right. It's kind of the same idea where it's like Will Hunting's like, listen, man, I don't necessarily want to sit in a room and do all this math. Again, like Real Genius, he's like, it's going to end up with into being turned into a bomb or something. Like he sees the consequences of it. So like who are his gifts for, Does he owe anybody anything? But then like his friends are like, well, yeah, you kind of owe it to us to make something of yourself because like we acknowledge like this shit sucks. Like there's some honor in our lives, but at the same time, like this isn't the way.
Yeah. I mean, they're relegated to that, so to speak. And there's a way out for him.
Right.
And he's choosing not to take it, and I think they resent that. Yeah.
But then that manifests into them actually giving him a gift. This is an actual like present gift, which is a very shitty car that they buy him.
Right.
But like that is like an acknowledgement. They're like, listen, like this is is not that it's the gift. It's the fact that like, listen, like this is going to take you away from us.
Yeah.
And we don't like the fact that you're leaving us, but you have to. Like you don't have a choice. Get the fuck out of here, you know? And that in itself is a gift.
Yes. I think this movie maybe gets a little bit more credit than it deserves for the screenplay, but I love the speech that Ben Affleck gives him about wanting to show up at his house one day and he doesn't walk out. And I mean, like that.
Yeah.
That's an amazing speech and the type of thing that your friend should say to you in this situation.
I disagree. I think the screenplay is amazing.
Oh man.
I think because like that moment you just talked about, there's 3 or 4 other moments in this movie where like you don't like movies don't have those. Do you know?
You're right. I'm not saying that it's average. I think that this is a great movie, a great script. Maybe I'm just feeling, for a lot of the reasons that we just talked about, that you know he's a genius in so many ways that I don't know, that part of it falls a little bit short for me.
Yeah.
But you know, we're picking nits. I mean, it's a stupendous film.
I think the cast, we already said the cast is great.
It is.
I even think Minnie Driver gives a pretty good performance here. No offense.
No.
But I think Robin Williams is on another fucking planet here.
Oh,
I think
my
like
God.
he's incredible and like he doesn't even seem to be doing that much, but he's doing so much.
I mean, you have to believe, just based on the body of evidence that we have, that this was a really restrained performance for Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And that all by itself is amazing. But yeah, for him to embody this character the way that he did, I can't imagine anybody else playing it. And I can't imagine it being played better than he did.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Like those kinds of performances make your script awesome too.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is part of the script. You know, you can't just see what it is on paper and say it's good or great or whatever. But like when you see it done like this, you're like, oh, that's what makes it great. You know?
I don't know if you know this off the top of your head or if you looked it up or anything, but I want to say that they really wanted Robin Williams for this part and maybe had him in mind when writing it. I'm not sure, but he's obviously the right guy.
Incredible.
For the role.
So Good Will Hunting, it is rated 4.4 overall in Letterboxd. 202,000 users have it in their 4 favorites, and 41% agree with my 5-star rating.
I'm there.
Including Cobb, who wrote in their 5-star review, "Ask me how I'm doing in 7 business days." So I'm putting Good Will Hunting on the staff shelf this week for gifts.
Good stuff. Yeah, this is a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic
for good reason.
I hadn't seen it in a very long time. I at least 20 years probably.
Oh, really?
And I think it's just one of those movies that like I guess I took for granted or whatever. Like I saw it when it came out and I'm like, yeah, it's good. And then I don't know, I kind of like thought of it as just like, yeah, like it's just one of those like movies I liked in the 90s and I'm sure it's fine and Ben and Matt and whatever. I had forgotten how great it really is.
I never grow tired of how effective Robin Williams' character is at putting Matt Damon in his place when he needs to be put in his place. And no one else can do that. I mean, that's, Matt Damon's made a living out of just getting over on literally everyone who has it out for him. And he can't do it with Robin Williams. And it's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Great pick. Loved rewatching it. All right. I am going to 2023. And this is from the Christmas movies that are actually Christmas movies section of the store.
I don't think so.
I think so. And my pick is The Holdovers. Here's the back of the box. A curmudgeonly instructor at a New England prep school is forced to remain on campus during Christmas break to babysit the handful of students with nowhere to go. Eventually, he forms an unlikely bond with one of them, a damaged, brainy troublemaker, and with the school's head cook, who has just lost a son in Vietnam. Tagline is fucking wonderful. Discomfort and joy.
That's great.
It is, yeah. So this is directed by Alexander Payne. I know we've had him on the shelf before for Sideways. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else that he's directed that we've
I can't recall. What else has he made?
I'm trying to blank. But yeah, he's at least been up here once before. And this is kind of a warm but also melancholy character study that leans into quiet moments rather than big revelations. Much like Sideways, we also get Paul Giamatti here, and he gives, I think, one of the best performances of his career as Paul Hunnam, a deeply unpleasant man whose kind of frigidity masks some loneliness, but there's also
Pure curmudgeon.
Oh, he is. Yeah, curmudgeon is exactly the right word. We also get Divine Joy Randolph, Dominic Sessa in his film debut. They make up the trio of characters that are kind of all carrying private grief into the Christmas season. So how does it fit the theme? There are some actual gifts here, some gifts that are exchanged. But in the case of this, I see it as, the gift isn't necessarily something that's wrapped or exchanged. It's kind of time, presence, unexpected care, which is given and received by all of the characters in some way, shape, or form. And none of these people that we spend time with necessarily asked for their circumstances, but what they receive is a chance to be seen, and that's pretty remarkable. So I think this reframes the notion of gift as something that's earned slowly, sometimes painfully, never really announced.
Also, it's just they give each other presents.
They do give presents. Yeah, that's I mean, yes, but I really love the message of this story, and I love how it functions as a holiday story, which we'll get to. But yeah, the present. I didn't want to choose it just for the little gifts that they exchange. That said, the bottle of Remy Martin Louis the 13th that Paul Giamatti has on his desk, that's like a $10,000 bottle of booze by today's standards. Yeah, so Alexander Payne deliberately styled this to kind of resemble 1970s cinema, and I think he does a great job. I mean, even from like the title card and stuff like that. This was inspired by his affection for character-driven holiday films that resist sentimentality, which I can't think of many that necessarily fit that description, but okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of...
And, the performances here are wonderful. Part of that might be from the fact that Alexander Payne spent 3 weeks with the cast doing table reads before ever shooting a frame of film, which kind of unusual by today's standards. But why did I choose this? I think that sometimes the best gifts arrive quietly. And the Holdovers, not about transformation through grand gestures. It's more incremental connection, which these characters certainly form. In spite of how curmudgeonly Paul Giamatti's character is, he definitely forms some real bonds.
I mean, they chip away at him over the course of the movie.
They do, and it's nice to see his character evolve.
Yeah.
You're rooting for that. You want it to happen.
You need it to happen.
Yeah. But I also like that this treats kindness as something kind of awkward and uncomfortable. That to me makes it fun, but it's also a holiday movie that doesn't demand cheerfulness, which is a fresh take on the genre, in my opinion.
The holiday is more of the circumstances they've found themselves in. They're not really like, they're not worried about like the Christmas experience, right? Like they're just like, because it's Christmas break, like we're all stuck here together.
Yeah. But I definitely think this emotionally it hits pretty hard, and I've enjoyed going. I've seen it maybe 3 times now, and it keeps getting better for me as I go back. This, against a budget of $13 million, brought in 45, so modest success. Letterboxd averages a 4.2. I have this at 4, along with 32% of users, and 43,000 people have this in their list of 4 favorites. I could see this growing to 5 stars in the future for me, but right now it's at 4. Where did it come out for you?
I have it at 3.
Okay.
I could definitely see going back to it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow burn, I think. Mm-hmm. But I have it at 3 for now.
So I plucked a review by Adam Naiman, who said, "This is like being beaten to death by a Cat Stevens album." Which, yeah, hard to disagree with that. So as my second pick, I'm plucking the Holdovers and putting it on the shelf for a theme of gifts.
Okay. I'm going to bring us to the year of 2004. The movie is Napoleon Dynamite. This is directed by Jared Hess, who just did Minecraft.
He did Minecraft?
Yeah, from Napoleon Dynamite. He's done a few things since, but up to Minecraft, which I believe made $1 billion this year or last year.
Oh my God, yeah.
This is filed under the Quesadillas for Breakfast Club. Here's the back of the box. A listless and alienated teenager decides to help his new friend win the class presidency in their small western high school, while he must deal with his bizarre family life back home. Tagline, he's out to prove he's got nothing to prove.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, Napoleon Dynamite, he lives in rural Idaho, surrounded by farms and dirt. He's played by John Hader, who he's just a supremely weird character. Not in like a kitschy, cute way. No. It seems like it's physically painful to be weird in the ways that he's weird.
Yeah.
You know, he wears moon boots all the time with jeans tucked into it. He's just got a weird energy. He's uncomfortable to be around. He's kind of just like the physical manifestation of discomfort.
Yes.
So Napoleon helps a new student from Mexico named Pedro run for class president. He fights with his uncle Rico and weird brother. He kind of befriends a girl he knows from school. He takes a different girl to prom. Him and Pedro do sweet jumps on a bicycle. He learns a long choreographed dance from a VHS tape. So, you know, there's not really a plot here.
No.
There's no real narrative direction. It's just kind of like a bunch of stuff that happens in Napoleon Dynamite's life over, I think, like the course of a few months, maybe one school year.
Yeah.
It's not even really clear.
Yeah.
You know, he's just got a weird life, and this is his weird life. So one of the weird things that Napoleon Dynamite does is, as a way of finding a date to the school dance, he picks a classmate out of the yearbook and draws a very bad portrait of her and then sends it to her as a gift.
Yeah.
And her mother finds out about this gift and tells her daughter that she has to go to the dance with Napoleon. So even though his date is not like happy about it, and eventually she ditches him like 2 minutes after they get there,
yeah,
this extremely weird gift did work. It worked. It got him a date. It got him a date to the dance.
It did,
which shows the power of gifts.
Yes.
Yes. You know, I hadn't seen this in about 20 years. I think I saw it once around when it came out. And, you know, going back to it, I couldn't quite place the tone because it's not making fun of these people, but it's not like not making fun of them. You know what I mean? Like they're not totally on their side.
Yeah. I almost think it's maybe more making fun of them than not, but I don't know.
But it's not going hard in either way. I would say, you know, like it's not totally sympathetic to Napoleon, but like it is poking fun at him at the same time. You know, you can see how like these are like very weird people, but you can see how like their eccentricities can turn into like pathologies in a way, you know, and like I read the grandma character in a different way.
Yeah.
And like I read that character this time as her kind of going like, I got to get the fuck out of here and away from these freaks.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving. She gets hurt. She's like, well, I'll call their freak uncle and have him come over. And like, I don't know. She just like, I read this as a character that was just like, you know what? I need a break. I need a break from these fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
But then also like the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is fantastic in this.
I think the soundtrack is the best part of the movie.
You get modern stuff with like White Stripes and Backstreet Boys, Jamiroquai, but you get a heavy dose of 80s new wave.
Yeah. Which never turned that down.
Forever Young, Time After Time, The Promise, which is the end of the movie. And that's kind of what unlocked it for me this time is I figured out that this is a John Hughes high school movie from the perspective of the weirdest guy at a rural high school in Idaho.
That's a take.
Because I'll tell you, like, this movie, like, I enjoyed it. I liked it before. I enjoyed this rewatch. I would say, like, pretty much the whole time I was watching it, definite 3-star movie. Like I was like, this is fun. This is a 3-star movie. Very weird. And then the last scene when they're playing the tetherball and The Promise comes up, and I was like, oh, I get it. Like that moment worked for me on a level. I was like, this is a 4-star movie.
Oh man,
I bumped it up to 4 stars in that moment.
So it had been about the same amount of time since I had seen this, which I guess was around the time it was released. You know, it was big in the moment, and I remember watching it and thinking to myself, well, that's the last time I'm ever going to see this. And lo and behold, 20-some years later, here we are again.
Here we are.
I do not enjoy this, but you are right that the soundtrack full of bangers. This, I think, feels more like a meme to me than it does like I love a John Hughes high school movie, but I mostly because I love the plot and the narrative, and we don't get as much of that here. But
I mean, I think thinking of this as a meme is, I think, the right way to think about it. I think this is just a bunch of memes, made into a movie.
Yeah.
And for something about it, there's something very singular about this, and it's right on the edge of being annoying.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for you, obviously, it tips over into annoying, but for me, it just like it's right on that edge, and I just can't help but like enjoy it.
I know I'm in the minority because there's a world of people that still appreciate this movie for all the very idiosyncratic things that it does. But
it does seem like a kind of and because it's 2004. Like if this came out in 2015, it would seem so cynical.
Yeah,
it does seem a little bit. Nowadays, you look at it, you're like, this seems like engineered idiosyncrasy, you know, but it's, I don't know, there's something, because it's a little bit older, it's like right before it would have been that, I think.
I mean, it's a very singular and unique vision.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I had never seen anything like this, and I don't think I have since.
I don't know how you come up with this character. I don't know what these actors are doing sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of doing the same thing.
Yes.
And I don't know. There's something there that's like really intriguing to me, that I kind of wonder what the director was thinking exactly with that, but I don't know. Yeah. So Napoleon Dynamite, it's rated 3.7 overall on Letterboxd. 17,000 users have it in their 4 favorites, and 28% agree with my 4-star rating, including Viv de Goat, who wrote a 4-star review that says, "Y'all mind if a white boy bust a move at the class election assembly?" So I'm giving Napoleon Dynamite, or I'm putting it up on the staff recommend shelf this week for gifts.
Well, fun pick. It certainly fits the theme, and to your point, does show the power of the right gift at the right time to the right person.
It does. This is also like I feel like this is like a millennial touchstone.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's very connected to a generation
very
of people.
of that time.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, it's time for my final pick, and I'm going back to 2015 from the You Shouldn't Have, seriously, section of the store. And my last pick is The Gift. So back at the box, Simon and Robin are a young married couple whose life is going is going as planned until a chance run-in with Simon's high school acquaintance sends their world into a tailspin. Tagline, not every gift is welcome.
No.
No as in not a good tagline?
Oh, no as in, I mean, not every gift is welcome.
Indeed. So this is written, directed by, and stars Joel Edgerton. So wholly his movie.
Yes. Now, do I know him from something besides this?
He was in like Zero Dark 30. He's always got, I don't know, more of a supporting role than a lead role. And
I know that name, but I just can't place who he is.
Yeah, that's what I connect him with is Zero Dark 30. But he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
And this is a psychological thriller. It's a Blumhouse movie, so you see that title sequence come up, and you might think, well, I'm in for horror. And no, I don't think this is horror, but it thrives on implication.
Yeah.
So Jason Bateman here plays Simon, who's kind of a guy with a very polished exterior, but he's hiding some stuff. His wife is Rebecca Hall, and she's been on the shelf before with The Town, but she's also really kind of connected herself to horror and thrillers in recent years.
She's in a lot of like low, mid-budget style horror movies.
And she's good here. She's kind of devastating, but she's good. And then Joel Edgerton plays the role of Gordo, who's the embodiment of unresolved trauma. He's an unsettling character.
Yeah.
Pretty ambiguous, but kind of hard to watch. So how does this fit the theme? This is a movie where gift giving is weaponized.
Yeah.
And, every present that is gifted to Bateman and Rebecca Hall's character carries some intention and accusation. There's a little bit of a threat associated with them. And these gifts are not about generosity. They're very much about kind of reckoning with the past and, some, memories.
Yeah.
Some stuff that went down.
Or just like ways to weasel your way into a situation.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely, it's a means to an end, like a much bigger plan. But Edgerton wrote this script over several years, drawing from some real anxieties around bullying and accountability. And like I said, not necessarily a horror film. This generally avoids jump scares. It's more relying on...
There's a couple.
There's a couple, but I would say more of like sustained dread is what's at play here. I love that Jason Bateman plays this part. He was deliberately cast to kind of upend what you expect from him as an actor, and he's good. I mean, you start thinking like, oh, I should be rooting for this guy, and then you're like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. But then you're also you feel, I don't know. It's quite a roller coaster ride in terms of your relationship with him. The ambiguity of the ending was pretty hotly debated, and I wouldn't blame some people for being upset by it, but it's certainly not clear cut.
True, but it's unsettling no matter what.
It's unsettling no matter what.
Yeah, it's horrible no matter how you interpret the ending. It's a horrible thing has happened.
Something very bad. So why did I choose this? You
love horrible things.
I do. I like a movie that is challenging, and I think this is. I also really I find the character of Gordo very fascinating.
Interesting. What's so fascinating about him?
I wonder.
You respect his ambition?
Part of maybe a little bit. It's definitely asking you to imagine, okay, well, what happened to those kids that were bullied in high school? Because we all knew some of them. We all saw it happen. And in this movie kind of brings you to present day and shows you, okay, well, here's a guy that was. And I don't know. I wonder how things might have played out differently if Jason Bateman wasn't as big of an asshole and a douchebag as he was. But I mean, it's clear that Gordo is who he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, I don't know, the way I read it, like, the minute that guy's on screen, you're like, you know what I mean? You're like, get the fuck away from this guy.
Yeah.
And, like, Rebecca Hall is, like, kind of the villain of the first half of this movie, because you're like, what is she not seeing about this guy?
Yeah.
Like how are like his like stop bys and his gifts? Like how are not all of these red flags to you?
Yeah.
Like what is she doing?
Yeah.
And like I never really understand. Like I guess she's trying to, I don't know, maybe something to do with her addiction issues or something. But like for the first half of the movie, you're like, what is she like? How does she not see what a fucking creepo this is? And like, even when you find out like what a dickhead Jason Bateman is, I'm still never like anywhere near Gordo's side, like nowhere near it.
I mean, it reminds me of the premise for Barbarian, where you know, politeness takes precedence over rational thinking. Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of things that Gordo does where it's like, no, you should not be okay with this. Yeah. Like these unexpected drop-bys, no.
And then like,
no.
I don't know if this was intentional. Maybe it was just like an oversight in the script, but like when he talked about joining the military and then leaving the military, I'm like, no, motherfucker, it's like you're in the Navy, you're in the Army, you're in the Marines. You don't say like, oh yeah, I joined the military and then I left the military. Yeah. When you're like talking in conversation with people. I was like, I don't trust this guy. No one would fucking say that. Like I said, that might have just been like a script thing or it might have been a character thing. I'm not really sure.
It makes you wonder if it was a lie.
That's like, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, because if you were in the Navy, you don't say like, oh yeah, I was in the military for a while.
Yeah, I was a Marine.
And then you would, and then you know, I was in the military, and then I left the military, and I was military guy. Like at some point, you say Navy.
Yeah,
right.
right. It did. I did feel bad for him, and maybe I'm biased. I did feel bad for him. When Bateman's character shows up at his trivia night. Yeah. He's wearing that stupid hat, and clearly he's not very good at it.
But like, he deserves to get his ass beat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. There's like there is a reason to feel bad for people who are bullied in high school, or like the thing that happened to this guy is like terrible. Like obviously,
yes.
But like, there's no excuse. I'm sorry, there's no excuse. You don't get to like be what that guy is. Even if you take like the end of it completely out of it, maybe like I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's no excuse.
I mean, this is a movie where there's really no happy endings for anyone.
There's no good guys.
There's no good guys.
There's no happy endings.
There's no happy endings. But it's it's an interesting tale threaded together by gifts. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that, you know, I like that you don't necessarily know where this is headed, and it surprises you in the end with where it goes. But yeah, it's a mean movie. It's restrained, but also cruel, and I like it for that. So it averages a 3.3 on Letterboxd, which feels about right. I mean, I have this at 3 stars. I think this is a classic 3-star,
solid 3 stars.
Yeah.
Not totally unpleasant, but I don't necessarily want to go back to see it again. I'm glad I watched it. Like I enjoyed it. Yeah. Just like I said, solid 3 stars. I don't know that I'm going to return.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not the type of movie that begs for a rewatch.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it once, might be worth going in.
Unless you're like a real Gordo head.
Yeah.
And you're like, I got to get back to get more Gordo.
109 people have this on their list of 4 favorites. I think you will enjoy the 3-star review I plucked from Grace Spellman, who said, spent half this movie laughing about how funny it would be if they titled the film The Many Gifts of Gordo.
Gordo.
Gordo indeed. Rob, some would say that the staff recommendation shelf is the gift that keeps on giving.
Never stops.
Yeah.
That's why we're here every day.
And this week, it happens to be stocked with films that deal with gifts as a theme. Our recommendations include Real Genius, The Game, Good Will Hunting, The Holdovers, Napoleon Dynamite, and The Gift.
If you don't have time to stop into the store, you can still visit us 24 hours a day at rewindvideopod.com. You can also find us on Letterboxd or Blue Sky, or send us an email at rewindvideopod@gmail.com. And if you like the show, please rate, review, subscribe, and recommend it to your friends who love movies.
The easiest gift that you could give to a friend is that of a recommendation, as you pointed out on the Rewindies.
Recommendation is the greatest gift of all.
Yes. Well, we were perhaps a bit late on the topic of gift giving, given when the holidays fell, but we're going to be early with our next theme, given that it's going to launch a few days before Valentine's Day. In the upcoming episode, we're tackling romance.
Aww.
Yeah.
Cute.
It's nice. Makes you wonder how we can make this theme weird.
That's all you, man.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll come up with something. As usual, we'll have 6 movies to recommend, but if you're looking for something in the meantime, feel free to hit us up for a movie to watch.
Be kind, recommend.